Well, ladies and gentlemen, looks like it's not just Polygon that is being fired right now because apparently the entire website of Giant Bomb, and if you don't know who Giant Bomb is, just stick around for this video because all of the ties are going to come together. Giant Bomb, the website that was behind the video that went viral of Alyssa Mercante threatening to fight everybody, that Giant Bomb, apparently almost everybody there has been let go, or at the very least has walked away from the website because the actual people that are in charge of it wanted to change the overall product, and the activists said, no, we're not going to let that happen. So let's get into this article, guys, from the VGC. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So if you guys don't remember who Giant Bomb was, let me remind you. Giant Bomb was the ones who hosted Alyssa Mercante, formerly of Kotaku, during her time when she had her Frost moment. I'm sure all of you guys remember that video. They were the ones that were cheering her on in that particular live stream. Every single one of them were cheering her on. And the ironic thing is that this is basically a repeat of history. When Frost had her moment on G4 TV, that spelled the destruction of G4 TV. Now, to be granted, Frost was actually tied to G4 TV, whereas Alyssa Mercante is obviously not tied to Giant Bomb in any, specific legal way. But still, it's ironic that when two of these women had massive rants on live air for everyone to see, the death of the company followed just a few months to almost a year later. It's absolutely insane stuff. So in any case, one of those people who worked at Giant Bomb goes by the name of Jeff Grubb. Now, if you don't know who Jeff Grubb is, just stick around. We got a lot to talk about. So the article reads, future of the Giant Bomb website is in doubt following prominent staff departures. The brand will undergo a strategic realignment, according to the owner, Fandom. Now, Fandom owns Giant Bomb, and essentially they were trying to change up the way that they wanted certain things to be done, not only just in videos, but in live streams. It seems like they wanted to make the content a little bit more family friendly. They wanted to get rid of swearing and whatnot. But here's the beautiful thing, right? These people don't realize that worked at Giant Bomb that they're not the ones who own this show. They had a massive meltdown over the fact that Fandom wanted to change things. If you guys remember, Kotaku and the activists over there experienced basically the same exact thing when Geo Media decided they wanted to change up the way things worked at Kotaku, and they wanted to focus on, actual gaming stuff instead of just focusing on activism and how everything is sexist, racist, and whatnot. They want to focus on actual gaming stuff, right? Gaming articles, gaming guides, things of that nature, tips and tricks. They wanted to focus on that stuff. And the activists, of course, had a little bit of a melty melt. Some people quit. Actually, a lot of people quit and walked away from Kotaku because they couldn't push their activism anymore. So here we have Giant Bomb, where they are facing the same exact situation. The news comes after weeks of uncertainty around the website, which abruptly ceased live streaming content last month. Earlier this week, the 888th episode of the Giant Bomb cast, one of the longest running video game podcasts of all time, was published and then swiftly removed. The episode included a lengthy section where the host mocked a series of overreaching brand guidelines given to the website by the current owner, Fandom. These guidelines included rules on swearing and other restrictions on content, which were entirely different from the style of content that Giant Bomb has built its reputation on, hence the mockery from the cast. On his Last of the Nintendogs podcast, following the removal, Giant Bomb staff member Jeff Grubb said that while the decision to remove the episode wasn't his decision, the decision to keep it down was. So Jeff Grubb. Okay, now who is Jeff Grubb? All right, so Jeff Grubb was the guy who sat to the left of Alyssa Mercante during that whole, debacle over on the podcast and basically just cheered her on nonstop. And I believe he's the one that said, did anybody take you up on that offer? And she said no, because they're all pussies, even though she obviously backed out of multiple invitations for a fight, but that's neither here nor there. Jeff Grubb then decided to say that, and he is also the one who allegedly stole the story from Smash JT and Grums. If you guys remember this post from Smash JT all the way back in January of 2000, In 25, Jeff Grubb stole the story and claimed to be the one who leaked the information about BioWare's Corin Bush and how they were let go from BioWare, or they were fired or left, whatever the case may be. They were the ones who leaked the story, according to Jeff Grubb. But the funny thing is, that information came from both Grums and Smash JT. It says breaking: Jeff Grubb appears to have straight up stolen Grums and Smash JT's exclusive BioWare Corin Bush story hours after we broke it, and the mainstream media mafia gives him credit for the scoop. These people are real pieces of work. This is why no one trusts mainstream anymore. Zero integrity, zero credibility, zero accountability. So again, he stole it just mere hours after Smash JT and Grums reported on it, which is absolutely hilarious, by the way, because this is the guy who ended up being fired. I think it's funny because I believe 8-Bit Eric made a post showing a picture of Giant Bomb, and he was essentially asking, do any of these people who are in this picture have jobs anymore? And it is such an amazing thing to even think about. The fact that that entire room that was cheering on Alyssa Mercante during her Frost moment are now pretty much all out of a job. It's insane to me. So again, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Jeff Grubb that was recently supposedly either let go or fired, or he left, or whatever the case may be, from Giant Bomb, and all because they wanted to bite the hand that fed them. This is the issue with these activists. They don't realize that they still work for someone. They still work for a major company. They still work for somebody else other than themselves. If you want to be an activist, do it on your own dime. Do it on your own time. Even if you feel like you are the show, at the end of the day, you don't own the show. Fandom own the show, and they have every right to tell you what they want and don't want in the show. And you having a meltdown to the point where you wanted to leave your job because you were told how to do it is just hilarious to me at the end of the day. So longtime staff member Dan Reichart discussed the issues facing the site during a stream on Wednesday, claiming he would never appear on Giant Bomb again, and that the direction that fandom was taking the company was not one he would like to be a part of. Reichert insinuated on the same stream that he would continue doing what he loves in the future, in addition to his Fire Escape podcast. Grubb also confirmed his departure, writing, "Well, that was a dream come true. Knew it wouldn't last, though. Out of a job at the moment, but I'll always be doing," and then he links his Patreon, of course. And then you got a contributor, Mike Minotti, who also confirmed he would no longer contribute to Giant Bomb going forward. Now, obviously, these guys are all doing this in unison, because they're trying to do the whole, we're better than this. We're gonna boycott this company and show them what they're missing. Bro, they don't give a shit. They're going to kick you right out, and they're not even going to care. Mike Minotti says, "Needless to say, I would no longer be contributed to Giant Bomb. Nothing but love to all the wonderful people from there and GameSpot. Jeff was a workhorse and a hero for the way he shouldered so much responsibility there. And I am furious with the ways the executives treated him. We aren't going anywhere." Oh, no, it seems like you're going somewhere, just not with Giant Bomb. A Giant Bomb owner fandom has responded to uncertainty around the brand. As you know, we've temporarily paused Giant Bomb live streaming, and that content is currently available on demand for our audience, a spokesperson for fandom told Kotaku in an email. "We understand this programming pause isn't ideal for our audience, but it's part of a strategic reset and realignment of our media brands. We have some creative ideas for the future of Giant Bomb that we're actively working on that we'll be able to communicate more about soon." I got to tell you, man, this is incredible to me because these companies have decided that these activists are just no longer necessary, which is hilarious, right? These people are all getting rid of them one by one by one by one. Every single company, Polygon, got bought out and almost everybody fired. Kotaku is down to like 5 or 6 people. I don't even think they have that many at this point. Pretty much every mainstream gaming journalist website is down to anywhere between 2 to 6 journalists. Each website, there's less than 30 journalists now working in the mainstream gaming industry. That's how insane and how freaking useless they are, right? So at this point, now we have Giant Bomb suffering what is essentially either massive layoffs or a massive exodus from people that used to work there, all because they got told how to do their job and they don't like it. At this point, Giant Bomb is probably going to be most likely non-existent, I gotta imagine, because even if they get people who to fill the space on the Giant Bombcast, at the end of the day, Giant Bombcast was known for certain people. That's the problem with podcasts, right? That are owned by companies. People become the face of a podcast, and if you replace those people with someone completely different, it's going to be very difficult for that content to continue forward. That's just the truth of it. You would have to basically introduce a brand new podcast, which I think they'll probably do. They're going to get rid of the Bombcast. If they were smart, they would get rid of it, just leave it in the archive, and make a brand new podcast with a brand new face and hope for the best. But at this point, your entire brand is known for Jeff Grubb and his idiots, and if they're not there anymore, I don't see why people would want to watch it anymore. As useless as they are, whatever audience they garnered, I gotta imagine, are there for them. So we're gonna find out what happens with Giant Bomb, but as of right now, they're in complete limbo, while everybody who used to work there for the most part, including Jeffy Grubb, who, like I said, allegedly stole a story from Smash AT and Grums, he's out of a job, and so is everybody else. And again, just to reiterate something before I end the video, it's hilarious because 8-Bit Eric posted this picture, and he said, how many people on that couch still have a job? And if you look here, this is the podcast that was hosted by Giant Bomb. You can see their logo on the bottom right, hosting Frost 2.0 over here, and pretty much almost every single one of these people, if not every one of them, are now out of a job, including Alyssa Mercante. This became the casting couch for the unemployed. Absolutely insane. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.